Hi, and welcome to It's Not That Bad Minisodes, optimistic book reviews for optimistic people. That's Chad Eckwitz.
And that's Simone LaRue. I love when we do these episodes.
I really enjoy them. I like people knowing that we're cultured enough to read the bare minimum of pop culture books.
Quite literally, a book a month. Which, I mean, in our modern society, that's quite a lot in itself.
And in all fairness, the book we're reviewing today is like 700 pages.
It is quite long.
It didn't feel long, because
No,
I
it didn't
was
feel long.
entranced.
Yeah, like, you listened to the audiobook as well, didn't you? Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was looking through the chapters, and it's like a 13-hour book.
Yeah.
I was like, that's very long.
Do you want to give... okay, well, let's talk about the book, and then we'll say the name of the person who narrated it, too, because she did an amazing job.
She was amazing. Yeah, I think we've teased it enough.
Okay.
The viewers, the listeners are clearly like, what the fuck are you guys talking about this week?
Guys, we are going to be reviewing Nosferatu, spelled Nos4A2, by Joe Hill.
What a novel. Yeah, let's talk about the narrator first, since we both listened to the book. I'm just getting her name from my Audible account.
I think it's Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah, Kate Mulgrew. Yeah,
Kate Mulgrew.
Mulgrew. So, her voice, her change in tone, like, her depiction of Charlie Manx.
Terrifying.
Holy crap. If, in the coming up series, which we will speak about later, it's not voiced like that, what's the point?
Why are we here? Do you want me to give a brief summary of the book? I'm not going to do spoilers, because I feel like it's a new enough book, and, like, unlike Pet Sematary, it hasn't been in pop culture for ages and ages, so I don't actually want to give away the ending, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
You can't complain about Pet Sematary spoilers, because, like, come on. But I feel like I don't want to... And also, this is such a good book, I just don't want to...
Plus, it's coming out as the series as well.
Exactly.
When did it come out?
Okay, well, the first episode comes out on the 2nd of June, 2019.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm very excited about.
That's going to be so good. It came out in 2013.
Okay.
Book. So it is, you're 100% right. It's only, 6 years old?
Yeah. Which in book years, not very long.
No, exactly. So yeah, give us the briefest of summaries.
Okay, so the book follows Vic McQueen. She is a child from a broken home who discovers that she has the ability to find anything lost using her bike and a bridge that only she can see. These powers are fairly benign. She uses them to find lost jewelry and lost photographs. And eventually she gets in over her head and finds Charlie Manx, a guy who also has magic powers, but his magic powers allow him to go to a dimension that he created on his own called Christmas Land. He uses his powers for evil by kidnapping children, having their parents horribly murdered, and taking the children to Christmas Land, which, as we learn, is a fate worse than death. Vic barely escapes with her life after her encounter with Charlie Manx and leaves Charlie Manx in a coma. I think that it takes place then 15 years later.
Yeah.
Charlie Manx wakes up again and kidnaps her son, Wayne. So Vic has to use her powers and her friends and fight her inner demons to rescue her son before Charlie Manx gets him to Christmas Land.
And lots of cool shit happens.
Oh my god.
Like, the characters are amazing and, oh man. But
Vic
we'll get into
excellent character.
Holy shit. Yes. But the first segment we do on these minisodes, trying to create canon, is we discuss what drink the author would be if they were to be a drink. So what are your thoughts? What would Joe Hill be in your mind?
So Joe Hill, he wrote this is obviously his more recent novel, but he also wrote Horns, which we reviewed the movie of.
Oh,
yeah, he wrote that. It's really good. I just finished reading it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Awesome.
So he wrote Horns. I've just downloaded another book of his to read because I'm so obsessed. So clearly something very dark and spicy. I'm thinking like a Bloody Mary, but real spicy.
Nice. Okay.
And somehow there's also whiskey in it.
Just like a really modified, sort of custom made.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a Bloody Mary, but it's got like chili in it and a little bit of whiskey, so it's like smoky.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I could see that.
What
That's
do you
nice.
think?
Maybe a little bit of cinnamon, just to sort of represent the sort of Dust Bowl kind of attitude.
Exactly, and there's just like so many flavors happening. You don't know what it is, but you like it.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I thought he's a really good cross between sort of the sophistication of new America versus the old cowboy of old America, and that's really clear in sort of his writing. So I thought maybe like a Long Island iced tea.
Oh.
Yeah, like a Long Island iced tea, but it needs to have something a bit more spicy. So maybe some cinnamon in it, or some chili.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of pepper, just
like
to give it a little bit of a
jalapeno
bite
or something.
So like it really crosses that divide that he really encapsulates, I think.
So we're both going for like complex flavors with
Yeah.
this guy, because I mean his
book is complex.
The detail that he can go into and like the richness of all the characters is truly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, even just like B characters, like there's that bit towards the end of the book where where he talks a little bit about the detective.
Yeah.
And for absolutely no reason, and I was so shocked but so pleasantly surprised, he starts describing her and her history and everything.
Yeah.
And obviously it has a point because I mean it comes up later, not going to give away spoilers. But, you know, I was sitting there and I'm like listening to this, and then he goes into her character and I was like, wait, what? This is amazing, but what? Even like just a B character, and it's so cool.
Obviously, the way he writes women is spot on. Very happy about it.
Yeah, yeah. And to have such a great protagonist.
Yeah.
Female protagonist
even
in
with
Vic
like
McQueen.
a character like Vic's mom, who he very easily could have kind of done as a throwaway character. Like, it's very stereotypical, right? Like, it's this kind of trailer trash woman who drinks too much and has like shitty taste in men. And he really could have, I guess, gotten away with not going that far, but like, you really feel for the mom so much.
Yeah.
By about the halfway point.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. It's such a beautiful story of forgiveness and retribution as well, which you didn't think it was going to be. Like, when you told me about this book over a month ago and you were like, it's really, really good, it's about sort of this vampire-like dude who takes kids away and shit, I was like, okay, so it's just going to be sort of like Stephen King, very sort of dark and shit. But it's a massively great tale about forgiveness and about, you know, coming to terms with who you are and family and the importance of forgiveness and love. And that's so great. And that's what's so lovely about this novel.
And I really hope that that kind of shines through in the series. Like, that's my sincere hope, is like, because the whole thing is like her journey, like dealing with the idea that she's a shitty parent, but like everybody's just trying their best. Like, that's the thing in this book. Like, everybody's just doing the best that they can and they fail frequently. Yeah,
exactly. I think what I really enjoyed about this is, as well, there was hardly any sort of Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. It was,
you know, there was so many times where it could have happened, where like Vic and Charlie Manx are standing against each other, and you think, you know, oh god, okay, Vic's gonna die now, so obviously there's gonna be a Deus, and then there just wasn't. She just found a way. Yeah.
So, she's just clever and brilliant. And even if, like, you know, at one point you think that she's horribly injured, but it turns out she isn't, like, that's still a factor. The reason she's not injured, the jacket, was, we'll cut that out. The reason she's not injured, like, it's something that's mentioned, and it's something that makes sense in terms of the plot. Like, that's all you have to do to make it not Deus Ex Machina, is, like, mention it earlier. That's it. There's literally Chekhov's gun in this as well, which I really appreciated.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. I think and I mean, this is what you spoke to me about as well, and why you said that you really love this book, is that everything is connected and everything is finalized.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's lost in modern writing, or at least from what we can see in the films and things that we review and that we watch, is that it seems that once you've written something, no one goes back and checks it.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, I've done with this scene, so now we just need to go forward, and if it doesn't make sense or there's massive plot holes, we're not going to fix them. Yeah. Where you don't have to do that. Writing tip 101.
You need to rewrite and rewrite again, and then leave it for a couple months and come back to it and trash it and start over, and
Send
work with a really good editor.
Yeah.
But I think also we're just used to, we watch really bad movies with where, you know, often they'll like show us an object and then it never gets mentioned again, and you're like, oh, what was the point of that? Or like, you know, there are just so many like plot lines and like visual cues that go nowhere. So it was really nice to read a well-written story.
Exactly. And I mean, it was nominated for the 2013 Bram Stoker Award for Best Novel, which is really, really impressive. Yeah. Also, I just found this out while doing a very quick Wikipedia. In the UK, it's not called NOSFA2, it's NOSFR2.
You mean 4-2?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said F.
Well, NOS4R2. So clearly the British constituent wouldn't have understood it if it was an A. Maybe that was their thinking.
I mean, you can put it together, UK.
I mean, right? Like, how does that... Like, no, it would just be way too confusing for the Brits. So you need to change it.
You know,
I mean, obviously, because it's like it's set in New England, so they would read it as NOSFA2 as their native accent would say. Nosferatu. Who was your favorite character? Because there's just so many great ones.
Like, you just love everyone so uniquely, but it's gotta be Lou.
Oh man. That teddy bear.
An angel. Like, he just is trying his best. He's shocked and awed that Vic even likes him. Yeah. Vic thinks that she's not good enough for him, but they're both just, like, trying, and it's so sweet.
It really is. Like, he's so unassuming, and when he saves her life, and, like, he goes with it. And I think there's that really important scene where Vic is explaining everything to Lou, and he's, like, trying to be devil's advocate, but he also believes her, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, he just loves her so much, and he's such a good guy. He's just the best of us. And he believes in, like, superheroes and stuff, and he's like, this actually really tracks, and such a good dad. He's an angel. And I think, you know, you don't often get obese characters written into action-y books like this unless like they're the bad guys or like shitty side characters.
The comedic, yeah.
So I think that was really, really refreshing.
Exactly. And and also just hearing what's her name do the voiceover as Lou is just one of the funniest things. Like, just hearing this old lady go, dude, like all the time, just was so heartwarming. So is there anything that you would have changed?
Lou, who was your favorite character?
Oh yeah, also Lou, no question about it. With a very, very close second of her friend,
Maggie
the one
Lee.
with the scrub. Yeah, Maggie Lee. I loved Maggie Lee, and even at the end, you know, when Vic was being so mean to her, like,
she's such a tragic character.
She really is, and I think, you know, the stuttering thing was really well done, and she was just so nice, and I think this is what also encapsulates this book, is that shitty people are not shitty because of what they look like and what they have to do to not be shitty, if that makes any sense. Like, and good people aren't bad or shitty because of the things they have to do to be good or try and be better. And it's such a nice nuance. Yeah. Because none of these characters, not one of them is truly good. Yeah, Maybe definitely. Maybe Lou. But Lou is just a perfect angel.
And we will protect him at all costs. You know, Charlie Manx was an excellent villain. Like,
oh man,
just so unique and weird. And I went on to Goodreads to read some of the reviews, and like one of the top questions is like, he doesn't molest the kids, does he? Because like, I don't really want to read that. And they were like, no, it's so much worse, but he's not molesting them.
Oh man, yeah, that's the thing, because like his values, it's almost as if it was just like an old valued human being who was allowed to live too long. Yeah, exactly. And so sort of took on a vigilante status. It's sort of like what happens when vigilanteism goes wrong, in a way. Yeah, in a way, yeah. And also when you hate women. And when you hate women for well, he's got reasons, but they're not good reasons. No, they're not. He's basically like,
if
the
you
nice
were
guy.
born around today, I'd be like basically an incel.
Yeah. It would have been great if in like when he's driving with what's his name? His
Bing.
Bing. Yes, Bing. When he's driving with Bing, it would have been really funny if in one scene he just goes, "Do you know what's a really good book? Ready Player One."
The 80s was my favorite time. Fuck off.
Of course it was, Mr. Manx. So yeah, what was there anything that you would have changed in this?
No, I mean, if you change one thing, you have to change all of it. Like, everything's so interlinked and perfect. And I would have liked Maggie's fate to be a bit different without giving anything away. But I'm glad that, like, her last little bit with the Scrabble tiles ended up actually being, like, the thing that saves the most people, actually. Mm-hmm. But no, I wouldn't change a thing. It's such a perfect book.
Yeah, it is truly magical. And yeah, good on Joe Hill. Really appreciate him. And I'm definitely going to pick up a copy of Horns and things now.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to read more of his stuff. I completely agree with you, by the way. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. It's just so well set out. And, oh man, I'm so glad that you recommended this. Really, 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 really. What was your favorite scene?
Oh my god. There's like the whole spectrum of human emotion in this book. So it's like, what emotion did I feel the hardest?
Yeah. Which was the emotion that you enjoyed going through with these people?
Oh my god. I think towards the end when Vic reunites with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there's just this little moment of her, like, realizing that the people in her life have been there for her all along. Maybe not always in the ways that she needed. But they're there, and, like, they love her, and they believe her. And, like, it's just a really nice little moment of closure for her.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I love everything about this book. Like, it's really hard to pick one scene.
It really is.
I mean, in terms of just emotion and tugging at my heartstrings, that was pretty up there.
I've got to agree with you. Like, I was thinking about it, and there's, I would say 3, but 2 of them are very, like, similar to yours. It's the dad reuniting scene and the mum forgiveness scene.
Yeah.
Those 2 are, like, I'm linking those 2 together because they have, like, the similar value. And that was just really heart-touching, especially because of sort of how things ended with her parents and how, like, that relationship was.
Especially, it's cool to see how much she's grown. She starts off, like, hating her mom and blaming her mom for everything. And as she grows up, she realizes, like, again, her mom was just fucking doing her best. And
as a single mom,
was not the cool guy that she thought he was, and yeah,
it was lovely. And then the other one that I just really fucking loved for its sort of revenge value, that scene between her and Bing at the end.
Yes,
that I was just like, fuck yeah, this is amazing. I love this.
Bing is great. Also a really good villain in that, like, he's like how a lot of villains are, actually. Like, he's just really pathetic.
He's being guided. He's not a person.
You know, but that's the thing. Like, that's a lot of serial killers, as we know. Like, they're actually these really pathetic people that that slowly keep giving themselves permission to do these things, and justifying it as usually part of a greater cause or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, overall, he was kind of a coward.
Huge coward. And I mean, that's reflected
again and again.
Again and again. It's, yeah, amazing. Can we talk, as final thoughts type of thing, about the connection with the greater Stephen King universe and all of the little hints to that? Fucking perfect. Pennywise Circus as one of the metaphysical zones. Great. The agreement between Charlie Manx and the... what are they called? It was from Dr. Sleep. The villains in Dr. Sleep.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He mentions... Manx is talking either to Wayne or to Bing, and he says, the Metascape or whatever it's called is shared between us and... they've got a name. It's a the something.
Okay.
From Dr. Sleep. And he's like, I have a deal with them. They stay on the East Coast or the West Coast, and I stay towards the East. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's great. So that's a reference to something a bit newer.
Yeah,
it made me really,
expanding
really happy.
the King universe.
Exactly. And it was so nice to see the little hints of that.
Yeah.
They mention
really exciting.
Yeah. They mention Shawshank as well.
Yes, they do.
I also had a theory because in one of his short stories, I think it's called Apt Pupil, it's about a boy who meets up with an ex-Nazi, and I was thinking that Vic's German neighbor might have been that Nazi, but I did no research into that, as is required for this podcast.
And then finally, let's talk about the upcoming TV series coming out on 2nd of June. I'm thrilled. Zachary Quinto is playing Charlie Manx, and I could not be happier.
I think it's perfect casting, really. He's such a great villain. And the acting looks good. And it's the person playing Vic, trying to find her name, but she's a new actress. Like, this is her first introductory role. Her debut, which is really cool.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I think what a opportunity to be part of.
Damn, what a role. What a role.
When we did Pet Sematary last month, we said, oh, who would we cast? But I don't think anyone else could play these roles, really.
You know what? I will have to see it to know. But I'm just so excited. And like I said, I think in one of our main episodes, is I'm very happy that they've made it a series so that they can, like, go into all of it. Like, can you imagine if they tried to shove it all into a movie? I'd be
700 pages. Yeah, no, it wouldn't work. It
and
would
also,
be
like, you
terrible.
really do need every single element of it for it to make sense. Like,
yeah, it doesn't work if you leave out anything. Yeah, it would just fall apart, and that's why it's so intricately written.
Exactly, it's such a good story. It would be a disservice to try and shorten it in any way. Hi, Game of Thrones.
Ooh, that's a little bit of shade thrown there.
Game of Thrones fans know what's up.
Yeah, I'm glad I avoided that pain by not watching it. Is my excuse.
You knew from the start.
I did. I was like, they'll screw up season 8. I know. Right, well, there you have it. Go and read it, guys. Seriously, Joe Hill, Nosferatu, NOS4A2, or NOS4R2, if you're in the UK. Yeah. Amazing book.
Yeah, if you're trying to get your distance up while running, listen to this book, because I was so obsessed. I ran so often.
Yeah, right? Like, I couldn't wait for my next long car journey so I could just put this on and just listen to it. And then people would phone me and I'd be like, how dare you fucking ruin this for me.
I washed the dishes so much.
Yeah, and seriously, if you don't feel like reading the 700-page book, get the audiobook from Audible. Seriously.
It's really
so
solid.
Good. So, next month, it is my turn again to choose. And I want to rep a South African writer.
Ooh, okay.
I know. So I want to do Zadie Smith's Swing Time. Okay. So I've read there's a different Zadie Smith book that I've read, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. And I saw this book in a bookstore in the UK, and it was Zadie Smith, and I was like, oh, awesome, I'm going to buy it because it's a South African writer, and now that I'm over here in the UK, I've got to rep my hometown, so I'm going to buy this. And I haven't read it yet. And I'm like, it's just staring at me on the shelf, and I need to actually pick it up and read it. And what better excuse than to do it for the podcast?
Okay, Zadie Smith Swing Club.
Yeah, so ZADIESMITH, and then Swing Time.
Swing Time, okay.
Yeah, sorry if I said Swing Club.
No, I maybe just heard Swing Club.
So, yeah, it looks really, really good. I'm really excited. She's amazing, and I'm super excited to be doing a South African author.
Yay! Rapping.
Yay! Whoop, whoop, whoop! So, yeah, this has been really fun. I love doing these mini episodes.
Yeah, they're really, really fun. And we actually get to be positive and happy the whole way through.
Exactly. I mean, just looking, you podcast listeners can't see this, but Simone has just been beaming the whole time. God.
I'm just so happy to be able to talk about this book. Like, I read it and no one else had read it.
Everyone should read this book, especially before the series comes out. Yeah. But it's just really nice to see her face beaming instead of the level of dejection that I always get.
Especially towards the end of our main episodes when I find out what I have to fucking watch next week.
Oh, it's going to be fun. So, as you may or may not know from the original canon episode, we do something a little bit different to sign off on these shows. We did leave you with a delicious quote, and Simone has dug up a brilliant one from the book that we had reviewed this week. Yeah. So, Simone?
So, this one says, fantasy was always only a reality waiting to be switched on.
And that's so lovely. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.